Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this episode of Bible Verse Breakdown, we're going to be breaking down the verse Isaiah chapter 57 verse 15, which reads, "For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones." So there is a lot to talk about in this video, and we're going to take each individual phrase in this verse and break it down so that we can all understand what they mean. So the first phrase, high and lofty one, is referring to the fact that God Almighty has a lot of power. He has a lot of authority. He lives in heaven, which is high. As the psalmist said, even the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men, according to Psalms chapter 115, verse 16. And as Eliphaz, the friend of Job, had stated, "Is not God in the height of heaven?" in Job chapter 22, verse 12. It doesn't necessarily mean that God Almighty lives higher than us, as in like if we look up, we'll be looking at God, because someone from Canada will be looking up and someone from Australia will be looking up, but due to the fact that we live in a sphere, they'd be looking in opposite directions. So it's not referring to it in a physical sense. It's referring to God Almighty's power, glory, majesty, which is higher than ours. Then the next phrase, that inhabiteth eternity, essentially means that God lives forever. As the psalmist stated in Psalm 90 verse 2, "Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou was formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God." See also Psalm chapter 93 verse 2 and Revelation chapter 11 verse 17. Then the phrase "whose name is holy" refers to the fact that God is holy. And what that essentially means is the fact that, you see, because God Almighty is supreme and is the owner of the universe, what he does is automatically correct. Everything he does is right and holy, as it was stated in Psalm chapter 145 verse 17. "The Lord is right in all his ways, and holy in all his works." Therefore, if we be like him, that is, if we imitate his behavior and character, then we're automatically holy too. If we read places like Leviticus chapter 11 verses 44 and 45, he was saying, "Be ye holy, for I am holy." So he was saying, be like me. Try to imitate my behavior, because everything I do is right. He's pure. He's clean. He's just, as Moses said in Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 4. "He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he." Then the phrase "I dwell in the high and holy place" is another reference to the fact that God lives in heaven. And he also attached the word holy to it. I dwell in a high and holy place. As in, God Almighty's position as the supreme being, as the sovereign ruler, is holy. And the fact that what he says is correct, what he says is right, prevails at that level. Because he is the sovereign ruler, and everything he says must prevail, according to Isaiah chapter 55 verse 11. And if we read places like Psalm chapter 87 verse 1, we can see that holiness and being high and so on was kind of attached to God's dwelling place. In that particular text, it states, "His foundation is in the holy mountains." And it was also stated in Psalm chapter 93 verse 5, "Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever." So it's like holiness and being high and so on, that forms God's dwelling place. He abides at that position. Then the phrase "with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit" essentially means that God Almighty dwells with those who are humble. Now, it doesn't mean that the righteous or the meek are going to go up to heaven to be with God. As Christ said, "The meek shall inherit the earth" in Matthew chapter 5 verse 5. What that means is that God is with them. He guides them, leads them, as it was stated in Psalm chapter 25 verse 9. "The meek will he guide in judgment, the meek will he teach his way." So he leads such ones, and he likes to be with such ones. Those who listen to him and obey his laws and humble themselves before him, those are the people he likes to deal with. And then the final phrase, "to revive the spirit of the humble and to revive the heart of the contrite ones," means that God Almighty will care for them. He doesn't forsake them. Even though he's God, he still uplifts them, as it was stated. He would exalt them. If you read Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 26. And even though he is high, he is also humble to regard such ones. As it was stated in the book of Job, he looketh upon men. And if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which is right, and it profiteth me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. According to Job chapter 33, verses 27 to 28. And an example of this is the way God responded to Ahab's humility in 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 29. After Ahab had killed Naboth because he wanted his vineyard, and God Almighty said that he was going to be punished severely for doing so, he humbled himself before God. He was repentant. He was sorry for his sins. And then God Almighty told Elijah, seest thou how Ahab humbleth himself before me? Because he humbleth himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house. So this verse, Isaiah chapter 57, verse 15, essentially means God Almighty is high, he is holy, he is just, he is sovereign, he is supreme. But he regards those that are humble and submit to his principles. And that is where I'm going to stop. I'm breaking down that verse, Isaiah chapter 57, verse 15, which once again reads, for thus saith the high and lofty one, that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we come back with another verse breakdown. And also, don't forget to check out the other channels we have in the description below, like It Pays to Fear God, Bible Q&A, Poems of Zion. If you like, poems, you can check that channel out. Because this is not the only channel we have. We run other channels that we post the same content, but in different ways in those other channels. So if you're interested in listening to this same message, but in different ways, then feel free to check those channels out and subscribe to them if you like. Anyway, have a great day, and God bless you.